This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. You guys are falling for clickbait, man. You guys are falling for the trap. Let me say it again. You guys are falling for the clickbait, or you're falling for the trap. You guys have to understand. See, everybody, this is why I told you there's a difference between true alpha extraordinaires and beta boy supreme and pure betas. There's levels to this alpha shit, just like there's levels to this beta shit. Let me say it again. There's levels to this alpha shit, just like there's levels to this beta shit. That's what you're seeing. I told you 97% of these guys out here are pure betas or beta boy supreme. There's only 3% of true alphas and alpha variations. So rehear me. Well, you guys are running with this Los Angeles Lakers narrative. This is ridiculous. The Los Angeles Lakers are supposed to go through a roller coaster. This is basketball. You can't be caught up in hoopla of highlights in games. This is what I'm talking about. Oh, the Lakers lost, man. Look at the Lakers. They're getting exposed. They got exposed by the Rockets. It's about not how you start. It's about how you finish. He knows the sports prediction is still going to line itself up. But I had to double back and keep the foot on the what? On the X. I had to double back and keep the foot on the what? On the X. You guys have to look at the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, and cutthroat true-teller fashion. If you're fixated upon game by game and how games are being broken down, you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're not having the Jay-Z mindset of, I'm not looking at you, dude. I'm looking past you. Let me say it again. I'm not looking at you, dude. I'm looking past you. Everyone knows basketball is a game of attrition. It's a law of attrition. There's many games that have to be played. Heck, they're not playing the NBA Finals all the way until October. Damn near going into November, folks. What month are we in? We're in August. There's still games to be played. Let me say it again. There's still games to be played. So you can't be fixated or caught up on the Lakers lost this game or the Lakers won that game. Because when it's all said and done, everyone is not in game shape. The Lakers, the only thing that they're not in is in game shape. Everybody else is not in game shape, and they weren't in basketball shape. So you're going to have these ebbs and flows. You're going to have these peaks and valleys where the Lakers win, and when they win big. And you're going to have these ebbs and flows, and you're going to have these peaks and valleys when the Lakers lose, they lose big. It's basketball, y'all. So why are y'all getting caught up? Everybody's always getting caught up in the next headline. The Lakers won. The Lakers lost. No, you have to look at the totality of this. You have to look at the fruits of the labors of this stuff, and you have to look at the longevity of this. If this thing is going all the way out to October, it's going out all the way out to November, then why are we caught up and hung up by one game? One game, mind you, that's meaningless when it's all said and done. Because you have to look at the bigger picture here. What is the bigger picture? The least path of resistance NBA title. The fraudulent Fluky on the spot NBA championship. Don't get you guys' head off of context. Roll your ass back into context. Let me say it again. Don't get your head off of context. Roll your ass back into context. And when you roll your ass back into context, what do you see in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat true-teller fashion visceral form? The Los Angeles Lakers are still on schedule. I told you guys about NeuroLinguistic Programming, but you wouldn't listen or you wouldn't pay attention. Let me say it again. I told you guys about NeuroLinguistic Programming, but you wouldn't listen, you wouldn't pay attention. They have to make this stuff look believable, man. Let me say it again. They have to make this stuff look believable. Why does He Knows the Sport repeat himself? And why does He Knows the Sport repeat himself repetitively? Let me say it again. Why does He Knows the Sport repeat himself? And why does he repeat himself repetitively? It's the art of reciprocation. Let me say it again. It's the art of reciprocation. If I say something 2 times, you get it. There's a study behind that. When you say something in a second time, the second emphasis behind it makes the brain stick. Because what happens is we have what's called temporary memory, and we have what's called permanent memory. When you say something the first time, it goes to the temporal memory. When you say it a second time, it goes to a permanent memory. Now watch, you're going to see people swagger jacking this style from He Knows the Sport, because they're going to be like, damn, that actually makes sense. I told you, I'm not a regular cat, nor do I think regular, nor do I reside in regular realms. Let me say it again. I'm not a regular cat, nor do I think regular, nor do I reside in regular realms. Knowledge is meant to be passed. Knowledge is meant to be given. Knowledge is meant to be shared. It still is not going to change the fact that even when you implement that strategy, you're not going to be able to do it like he knows the sport, because there's only one originator, there's many duplicators. Let me say it again. There's only one he knows the sport originator, and there's many duplicators. But here's the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, and the cutthroat truth-teller fashion. The Lakers are still primed to win. So stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and what? Higgityhush. You guys are getting caught up. You're getting caught up in these bullshit headlines. You can't run whichever direction it takes you. Have you ever heard what the good book said? A double-minded man is unstable in his ways. Let me say it again. This is what I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me? Hear me? Well, a double-minded man is unstable in his ways. Because double-minded men, they go wherever the wind takes them. They go wherever the water drifts. They go wherever position. They're like tofu. The food tofu is a double-minded variation food, because the food tofu blends in. It's nomadic in blending in with whatever food that is added to it, whatever spice is added to it. It mimics that taste because it can't stand on its own. That's what double-minded men, double-minded women do. They can't stand on their own mindset. They have a scarcity mindset, not an abundance mindset. They're not men and women with confidence, purpose, and an abundance mindset. Because when you have that, you don't steer your ship on every headline. You don't steer your ship on every narrative. You don't steer your ship on every talks that LBJ Riders Media is pumping to you. They want you to believe this roller coaster. They want you to think that this is real. They want you to think that the Los Angeles Lakers are in serious trouble. And you guys are doing this, gobbling this thing out like a damn turkey instead of when you should be repulsing it. Let me say it again. You're gobbling this thing up like a turkey when you should be repulsing it. This is how brain full of mushing and brainwashing dodo-headisms happens. Because they make you believe in very slick variations of NLP, NeuroLinguistic Programming, that things look bad, that there's a roller coaster, that there's a up and a down, that there's peaks and valleys, there's ebbs and flows. And the more you keep believing in this stuff, the more you're going to actually believe that it's real. This is how neurolinguistic programming works. This is the empathic, the psychological impact or the psychological effect it has on your subconscious mind. It's there to dilute it or dilute it. So thinking that the Los Angeles Lakers are in trouble right now is exactly where they want you, man. I told you, man. LBJ Riders Media are playing chess. You guys are supposed to be playing super chess. Because once the Lakers come back and they showcase themselves as winning and they get on a surge, it's only supposed to set this thing up so it looks like it's a folklore story. You see how He Knows the Sport brought all of this context back? Because you guys need a He Knows the Sport out here in these boxing streets and basketball streets to reveal to you guys things that you guys can't see, man. You guys are not using the true basketball eye test, because if you use it, you can be able to see and decipher through these things. You have to be operating at a higher plane. You have to be operating at a highly intellectual capacity to understand what's going on here. Throwing headlines left and right is to divert your mind, your subconscious mind, so you can be thrown off. And once you're thrown off kilter, now you're going to believe whatever's thrown at you. Heck, I've seen even alphas fall for this shit. This is how real out here it is in these basketball streets. This is how real out here it is in these NBA streets. So the Lakers losing to the Houston Rockets, wake me up when there's a real headline. Let me say it again. Wake me up when there's a real headline. You can't be a brain full of mush and a brainwashed dodo head. And if you listen to Yoda, he knows the sport form, you will be proselytized back into what's called the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-teller fashion. The Lakers are not going nowhere. They're still going to win this least path of resistance NBA title. They're still going to win this fraudulent, funky, on-the-spot NBA title. Because when it's all said and done, when is the NBA Finals going to happen? All the way in October. So He Knows the Sport is left with saying to you guys, things that make you say, Things that make you say, This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.